Peter Carr. We're going to look at how to construct the dropped Gothic arch. We're going to be laying the voussoirs, marking in the creeping joint and cutting the bricks, and laying the bird's mouth key for the Gothic arch.
Now, brick corners can still be laid using spirit level freehand, or alternately the quicker option is to set up a straight edge or profile, then plumb the profile, making sure that the corner will be built plumb in both directions. Gauge can then be marked against the steel profile and the string line and block lifted up accordingly. Once the two abutments have been built, then going to need to lay voussoirs over the arch centre. The most important thing when laying a Gothic arch, or any particular arch that has a bird's mouth key finish, is that the voussoirs finish the same distance either side of the tip of the arch or the crown of the arch. One of the simplest methods to do that is to mark gauge up one side of the arch centre, that is the introdos, then check the distance from the tip of the arch centre to that final gauge mark, and mark accordingly the same distance down the other side of the arch centre, and then mark the remaining gauge marks down the introdos on the other side at the same gauge. Then obviously it's important that you follow that gauge a set of dividers or a compass is the most appropriate tool to use for this purpose. The advantage of using steel profiles on the corners is that string line can be lifted higher without having the corner built. This is a must to check face alignment. It is critical that the face alignment on all the voussoirs is checked, as well as the brickwork laid around the haunch of the arch. Generally, you would not be able to lay all the voussoirs over the arch without first cutting in some of the brickwork. However, because this arch is quite small, it is quite possible we could lay all the voussoirs over the arch centre. The joints between the voussoirs should be kept full, and it means that on some occasions it's best to lay mortar on both the brick voussoir that's already been laid and the one you're about to lay. It is also important to keep the centre of the voussoir touching the arch template or the arch centre. There are two options to mark the cuts into the creeping joint around the voussoirs. One is to measure the top of one brick and the bottom of the cut. The other is to hold the brick at the back of the arch being laid over and mark it. Now, to ensure that a nice creeping joint is kept, it may mean that even the smallest of cuts are used around the creeping joint. One of the reasons that joints need to be kept full around the arch centre is that once the arch centre has been removed, there is a considerable amount of pressure between the voussoirs as the arch centre is taken out. To maximise the design of the arch, keeping those joints full is very important so that it reduces the possibility of cracking between the voussoirs. I generally find it's best to check that the cut that you've marked and then cut is put in to the opening dry before actually laying it. There's no point in laying it into mortar and finding out that the cut only needs to be adjusted or recut. Once the brickwork has been laid up around those voussoirs already laid, the remaining voussoirs can be laid you can see there mortar being laid on both the brick that's already been laid and the next one to be put down. Again, we're keeping an eye on the gauge. When laying the bird's mouth key, I find that the easiest method is to set out the bricks from one direction or one side of the arch up through the bird's mouth key, and while temporarily holding them into place, mark the centre cut. Once that centre cut or line has been drawn, the mark can then be transferred onto the other side of the bricks to be laid using a bevel. Spirit levels kept plumb, bricks marked while it's being held into place. A bevel is then used to take that angle and then reproduce it as a mirror cut for the other side of the arch centre. Given the size of this small cut, it may have been possible to use a scotch hammer or brick hammer. However, because the bricks are extruded bricks and quite hard and brittle, it's simply better to use the brick saw. Again, check the cut before mortar is actually laid into the joint. Filling up can be done afterwards with either a trowel or a tuck pointing trowel. Be neat in doing that. And keep the joints full. Final step is to lay the top of the bird's mouth key and plumb the middle joint. Take your time in laying these bricks. It can be a little bit difficult, patience being the key. final step is to point it up neatly and lay the remaining bricks around the extra DOS.